What's up, my fellow Warship players? Rosgreaves Gaming back, and today we have the entire French battleship line shown off finally. The complete line has been shown, so I want to get everything all over it and go talk about this. So, this is now going to be the complete line that we have from Tier 4 all the way to Tier 10. We're going to discuss all the specs, we're going to discuss all the different changes, we're going to discuss all that good stuff. So, so here we go. The first one we're going to have is the Tier 4 French battleship, Colbert. Basically, upon the German invasion, beginning of May, 10th of May, 1940, Colbert was hastily rearmed. She was born in Allied troops and defense in Cherbourg during June. Later a month, taking refuge in England as part of Operation Catapult, she was seized in Plymouth by the British forces on the 3rd of July and was turned over to Free French a week later. She was used as a patrol vessel on depot, patrol vessel depot ship, and an anti-aircraft ship until the 31st of March 1941, where she was disarmed and hulked. Her engines and boilers were removed in 1944, prepared for her breakwater during the Normandy landings in June of 1944, and she was scrapped after the war. However, this is not what we want. We have her in the ship, in the game, at Tier 4. She's going to have 28,200 health. She's going to have an overall armor of 32. She's going to have a belt of 175 to 250. She's going to have 2 guns in each 6 turrets, a 305mm with a range of 15.8, HE of 4,200, AP of 8,300, reload of 30, rotation 30 seconds, maximum dispersion 221 meters, HE velocity of 905, AP of 798, a lot slower in the AP velocity. Her sigma is 1.8 at Tier 4. Maximum speed is just a shy under 20 knots, so she will be slow just like any other ship. Turning radius, turning circle is 580 meters with a rotor shift of 17.2. Kind of slow, but that comes with the Tier 4 lineups. Search detective 15.8, air detective 9.4. Detectability after smoke, of course, is the usual 12.4. Anti-torpedo protection, she actually has some at 10%. And of course, the traditional damage control and repair partie. So there you go. Now let's go on to the next ship in the lineup. This one we actually have it in game, so you guys actually can take a look at it. The Tier 5 Bretagne. We saw this a while back, not too long ago. She was basically deployed in response to the super dreadnoughts that the British were doing. So this is basically what the ship is, and the armor layout looks pretty damn good. You know, overall, she's got 19 all over the ship. She does have very good deck plating here at 13mm. Her side plating is very good, 250. You can see here on the waterline here. Just below the waterline, so to speak, just a shy. And her front's got 150, and that was my concern when I immediately saw this ship. Look at those guns. Especially the front one. If we could hit that front, maybe we can get in that citadel. So I said, alright, let me go check. Sure enough, you can hit that barbette. That could be a serious problem with this kind of ship. But then I went, okay, what about the citadel? And sure enough, if you aim just right in that nose, you're going to get citadel. So right off the bat, there's already a mark. This makes me feel like this is a New York. Which, if anybody knows the New York, and I always tell people, whoever has the New York, don't go nose in. You're completely screwed if you go nose in, because you can get hit in the citadel right in the nose. I always told you, when you head to New York, you want to slightly angle like this. Because of that, you're showing that side armor, and you will get bounces using that armor against them. Anyway, let's stop talking about that. Talking about the ship. Survivability is 38,300. A armor of 10 to 400mm, of course. Torpedo protection again 10. Artillery, we have again 5 of the 340mm guns. You have 22 of these single 139s and a maximum range of 16.8. AA guns, not much to expect, but you can upgrade it. I can't. Okay, alright, let's check the B-hole right off the bat. Changed it up. You will change the AA guns quite a bit in this. You're going to have the 1939 updates, which is the 8 dual 25s. You're going to have 8 single Bofors and 4 of the dual 100 mils. Your armor will go up to 4100, 700 if you do this, and now let's go into actually upgrading the range. You will upgrade the range to 18.2, so you actually can make it a little bit better, the guns and everything else. The guns themselves, here's the stats, folks. You have a max dispersion of 247 with that increasement of range. 30-second again reload, 60 degrees with that turn. Figures, nose bap, nothing new there. On top of that, you do have HE damage of 26% with those shells, the maximum HE damage of 4,700. AP goes up to 9,500, and again, AP is slower than the HE. I'm seeing a trend here with that, with 7,800 meters a second with the AP and 921,100 meters a second with the AP. Maneuverability, 19.9 again, with a turning circle of now 580 meters and a rotor shift of 17.5. Not bad, but that's traditional for Tier 5. Detectability, it will get increased with, I think, the B-hole. No, it won't. But it will get changes, will happen if you increase that gun range. Your detectability when firing will increase to 18.2. If you don't fire, your detectability is 15.3, just to give that out. Standard detectability at sea. Of course, if it's in smoke, it does get reduced because there's a smaller caliber gun, but that's just a very small negation. So you could blind fire at that max range if you were in smoke. Just a heads up, I would not recommend this. Now, let's go next to the next tier. We got no time for this. Let's go. This ship, I looked at it and I went, nah, this looks really weird. And sure enough, it is. The Tier 6 Nomade. I'm going to say that. Apologize. She has now the first quad turrets in the game, and it will certainly not be the last. 340 millimeters. They were built in 1912, these type of guns. Maximum speed with that will go to 29.5, so it was faster ship, reducing the size with all the guns in there. So you have 3 turrets of quads, so you have 4, 8, 12 guns to fire. Maximum range of those guns will be 19.8, respectable. The B-hull will increase everything. Will give you a health pool of 48,300. With the armor, well, it's actually not too bad. Overall 25 millimeters, so you probably can take on some ships, but probably not a lot, especially the upper tiers, including the 16-inch guns. That will be quite a problem from the Colorado and from also Nagato. Those 2 ships will be quite the impenetrably very dangerous ships in the game, for sure. Citadel is quite deep inside the bowels of the ship, and there is, it looks like, a slight, I don't know, let me pull this away so we can take a look. Nope, no turtleback, but the Citadel is below the waterline and is actually quite deep. So it will be very difficult to penetrate that in a way, but the armor definitely up on top of the ship is quite the spectacular mechanism, if I'd say so myself. It is quite the interesting mechanism under there. Now, back to this. Torpedo reduction has been increased to 13% in this one. Artillery with the main guns, let's go over it. 30-second reload. 45 seconds now rotation of the turrets, which is quite quicker than before. Maximum dispersion, if we upgrade the range, here, give me a second here, folks, is 260 meters this time. HE shells is 340 240 millimeter guns is got a damage of 4,700. HE damage chance of fire is 26%. AP damage is going to be 9,500 again, with the firing range going to again 19.8, and again the muzzle velocity is changed once again, with it being 780 meters a second for AP and 921 meters a second for the HE. So it's a lot faster for the high explosive. Again, seems to be a trend with the French in this game. If we put the B-hole on, we do get anti-air buffs, but only a tiny bit compared to the tier 5, who had bow 4s at least. This one does not have the bow 4s. So you only get the 13.2. You get 4 of the duels. You get 6 dual 37s, and you get 6 dual 90s, which are probably the dual purpose slightly. They are the dual purpose. And the kicker is you get a lot of these single 139 mils all over the ship, which look like something you can actually use very well for like secondary builds. Be quite the interesting project. Yeah, it could be. We'll see what happens. Anyway, maneuverability is 28 knots, 640 meters for the turning circle, and a row shift 18.8. Concealment will be 16.2. We can debuff that quite a bit with the Concealment Expert, of course, which I always use for most of my battleships, because it's a big fat ship and I don't like to get spotted. So let's go down to the next ship. The tier 6 Leon. I'm going to say Leon. Again, 340 millimeter guns. So it's a very big trend, but this time we have 4 of these instead of the traditional 3. So we actually have now a more than 12 guns. We have a sheer whopping, and not to be a bragging or something as though, a 16 guns at tier 7 of 340 millimeters, which would be quite the menace for cruisers. See a trend with that too. The smokestack definitely has changed that traditional we've seen from a lot of the ships. A lot of the secondaries were removed on this, and it's a little more of the dual purpose, more traditional of the World War II scheme, more modern scheme, so to speak, as well. And it says on the spec sheets that she was designed and created before the outbreak of World War I. Increasing these up. Additional, the main guns allowed for a deliver of a unique 16-inch broadside salvo. So that, like I said before, the 16-inch full salvo this can do, which would be quite the nasty competitor, especially at tier 7. Maximum speed will increase to 27 knots, which is pretty fair. Maximum firing range will be 20.6. And with the B-hole, you will upgrade health to 53,400. The armor scheme, let's bring everything back up here, since we were looking at before. It is 25 all around. The armor plating is a little more unique. There is the bulges. I can pull the bulges away, and that is 240 on the side, and 300. It's a little... There, that citadel is quite small, and there is a massive torpedo bulge in this thing, which I'm actually kind of happy about for once. And goes to show 16% of the torpedo reduction on this, which is way better than it was before. Anyhow, let's reduce that. Go rid for that. So, anyway, again, same muzzle velocity of the AP and HE, and same amount of damage because it's pretty much the same guns. Same reload, same rotation, just we have an additional gun turret now. That's all I really could say. Between the tier 7 and the tier 6, there's not much of a difference compared to it in the gun changes to increase strength or power. The only difference is you have an additional gun, so your net gun turret, sorry, the additional net damage will be more. That's only really you can actually point out on this. Now, I don't know how it's going to affect, but I would say that anybody in the cruiser lineup is going to be complaining and hating the French lineup so far. Anyway, let's go to actually something quite interesting. Now we have the dual-purpose artillery. The 130s and quad turrets and dual turrets. Note that, everybody. Now, for the AA defense, if we put the B hole on, it changes. Okay. We get the 20s, Mark IIs, the 20 Mark 20s, and 8 of duals and 14 of the singles. We get, yay, we get Bofors. We get the 56 Beaufort Mark IIIs, singles, and quads. Of course, the traditional we all love. We do get those dual-purpose main guns, dual-purpose secondary guns as anti-air defense as well. So these AA guns go away, and you get Bofors. But be careful, of course, your AA will get knocked out if it gets hit with a nasty high explosive. But the AA defense actually becomes quite the nasty little aspect in the medium range area. I can see the short range becoming quite the problem in certain aspects there. Maximum speed will get increased to 27 knots. The rotation of the rudder will go to 14.1 and a 700 turning circle, so that's not too bad. Detectability is actually pretty dang good for this tier 7. Detectability of the guns will get a nasty debuff for sure. With the B-hole and everything else will actually make this ship quite the nasty competitor for sure. Detectability will increase for sure at that ranges, but if you do it right, this ship can be quite the nasty little competitor at the stealthy departments in certain aspects. Now let's go to the newer generation, the World War II versions of these upgrades. This is the Richelieu. I cannot pronounce it right because it's French. Oui, oui. Sorry. I'm sorry. I digress. Anyway, the tier 8 battleship. Very close to a Dunkirk in certain aspects, but the guns are a little different. These are the upgraded 380mm guns. And the ship was quite larger, and it was very quick for her time. I've seen videos of her actually sailing to New York, visiting the States during the war, and showing the pride of the French Navy at that time. Now for AA aspects and survivability, we get quite the interesting aspect. HP pool does boof out quite a bit with the B hole to 63,700. Armor does increase to 430mm, expecting it definitely going against Carolina, Amagi, going against the British battleship Monarch, and the Germans Bismarck. That'd be quite the lineup. Oh, and Key and any other premiums in the game. Torpedo production definitely takes a massive bump here at 32%. She also has a massively beautiful artillery. I love the guns on the French. I'm sorry if you guys are going to complain, but I loved the Dunkirk. She had a very, very good turning rotation, and because of it, I was able to use the front guns and actually take out a lot of good cruisers and annoy the hell out of battleships for a short time in the right aspects. Anyway, maximum firing range is 25.3. You do have quite the interesting secondary armament. You do have a buff up on the secondaries when you get the B hole. Everything else, the maximum firing range does go, like I said, to 25.3. So there you go. Let's see here. Maximum firing range again. The guns actually switch altogether on this one. The AP and HE get the same muzzle velocity. They're the same. The gun rotation is very good, 36 seconds. I don't think you're going to need to put on a expert marksman on this to rotate the guns even faster. If you really need it, I recommend it, but if you're really a faster doer, but 36 seconds, guys. You reload 30 seconds. I think you got plenty of time to get your aim right, get the right position, and take the shots. Especially with your guns being only in the front. That's right, guys. Remember, this is only front gun artillery. So you're going to be doing the battle tanking technique just like you've done in the tier premium Dunkirk way. So you're going to have to be very smart with that. Because this derp armor, you have the ability to basically put the armor towards the side and be able to bounce shells. The only exception to this is the Yamato class battleships with the 18-inch. It will overmatch this capability and you will not be able to battle tank. But other than that, this ability with this type of armor will help you out in the long run and make your ship actually last longer in the fight. Anyway, remember though, folks, that this is all work in progress. Now, AA gun wise, we do have actually something nice and good here. Again, bow 4s and 20 mils are all over this ship. So we do probably get the all-around cannons, 48 single ones, and 14 of the quad bow 4 guns. So that is quite the good amount. Maneuverability, you do have a very good 30 knots. If you do upgrade the speed, you get to 32. And remember, I also should point out, these ships get speed boost. So 32 knots and a speed flank, and that, hold my beer, we're going for a wild ride. This ship is going to be very, very fast. It's probably going to be one of the fastest tier 8 battleships you're going to get in the game. Maximum turning circle of 850 meters. And with the rudder shift upgrading to 15.4, this is going to be quite the interesting little fast little battleship. I would see this ship more as an interceptor for those targets that are a little in the way for the whole lineup. With the, let's see here, detectability, let's go for the range. There we go. That will give us the best detectability. Detectability when the guns fire, 25.3 because of the gun range. Detectability after firing the secondaries remain their standard detectability, 16.7. In smoke it's 15.4, so you can technically blind fire at that max range just because the guns are 380. They're not the bigger guns, but remember, you might be firing at the back ships, but there could be destroyers and stuff that are spawning you, so never mind about that. Anyway, so that's the tier 8. Now unfortunately we do not have tier 9 or 10 shown in this game, but that does not mean I have photos of them. So give me a second. We've already seen this ship. So we're going to pull up in my little files here the tier 9. Now, bear with it here, folks. I'm going to try to zoom on this photo as best I can. I don't think I can, but this is the tier where is it? Tier 9. Alicent's. She's gonna have the new 12 guns mounted in quadruple turrets. She's going to have Alicent's main guns or individual magazines are located until 3 magazines. Normally an ABX has only 2 magazine modules forward and aft, so this thing does have individual magazines located in the ship. So here's the specs. The whole hit points is going to be 74,700. All over armor 32. Armor belts 375 and 300 meters. Torpedo reduction is 43.6%. Yes! I love it because those Shimikazes and the higher torpedo damage is going to be nasty, including those deep water torpedoes that just were added. And the recent update World of Warships. Turning radius is 910 meters. Rudder shift is 16.54. Surface detector 16.74. Aerial detection is 15.09 kilometers. In smoke detectability is 15.42. You do get the heal, you get the speed boost, you get the flame or the fighter or the scouter, and you get the heal. Alright, so for the main guns, AP and HE are the same exact, 830 meters. So they're not those fast and slow mixes between the two. We got 3 in quad turrets. They are again the 380mm guns with a rotation at 36 seconds. Again, nice and quick. You do have 30-second reload again. Firing range is 23.68. Maximum dispersion is 298 meters with a sigma of 2.0. HE is going to be 5400 with chance of fire 36%. The damage on the AP is 11,900, so that could be quite a bit. Penetration values, I'm going to put that in the link below if you guys want to read the rest of the spreadsheet, of course. But overall, the secondaries as well is 7 kilometers. Layout of the triple 152s, 12-second reload on those, but they got HE firing. You also have 12 of the dual 100s. Those have a chance of fire too, as their HE as well. And of course the AA defense. This is going to be quite the interesting. You do have the all-arounds. You have the 152s and the 100s, and you have 7mm AA guns in this one. So I don't see Bofors in this one, unfortunately. I don't know if that's 100% sure. Bear with it. We're still getting more information on this as it comes out. But you do have a quite the problem net. You'd have the close, you have the mid, but I don't see any long range. Maybe the 152s and 100s, but that's really going to be quite the problem. Now let's go at the cream of the crop, the one that a lot of people are complaining about. I don't know if I could show it. Where is that file? There it is. The tier 10. This one I'm hearing so many complaints about, and I can understand that. Of course, somebody made a joke that there are 2 park benches spotted on the French ship on this one. Her aft deck consists of a helicopter pad and hangar. We don't have any coppers, of course, in this game. She has a 220k horsepower propulsion system, same as this Henri. Her maximum speed is 30 knots. For comparison, Iowa has a 212 horsepower propulsion system and a maximum speed 33 knots. So this ship has a monstrous horsepower like the Henri, but only goes 30 knots. So that could be a lot of people complaining a little bit about that. She does have speed boost, heal, and repair. No plane tier 10. Her maximum hit points is 92,400, so she doesn't have as much as... She beats Conqueror, but she doesn't beat the other ships. 350mm and 400mm belt are overall, 32 all around, of course. Torpedo reduction of 36%, maximum 8 speed of 30 knots, turning radius of 980, so very large. Rudder shift time of 18.3 with a surge detect of 18 kilometers. Aero detectability is 16.83, and smoking detectability by the guns is 18.35 overall. Now, the main guns. They are a buff. They are the quad guns, but now they're the buff. They are the 431mm. So they are bigger, but there's only 2 of these main turrets. You only have 8 guns compared to a lot of other ships out there. But I think that I don't know. I really don't know. People are not happy with this. And right to be so in certain aspects. You only got 1 gun in the front, 1 in the back. But I'm also wanting to point out to people, and I'm going to say that real quick, and then we're going to get back to the rest of the stats. That's not much compared to like Iowa or Yamato. Actually, I should say Yamato has 9 guns. 2 in the front, 1 in the back. Now, I know that means like you can do more of the guns in the front and bow and tank and all that stuff. I understand that completely. Montana, of course, has 2 main battery guns, and that's only 6 guns compared to the 8. I mean, the 4 in the front. So, yeah, she got more guns in the front again. And Also, Conqueror's another one of that. And on top of that, also Grosse Kurfürst. She again has 6 guns, 2 turrets in the front, 2 in the back. So that's again with the 12 guns. With the 420s, I'm not too sure. But anyway, let's go back to the rest of the specs here. Maximum fire range of 26.08, sorry. Maximum dispersion is 320 with a sigma of 2 again. AP and HE velocity is the same at 840 meters a second. Damage on HE is 6,300 with HE chance of 48%. AP damage of 14,500. And here's your penetrations, folks, for 5, 10, 15, and 20. They go 800, 681, 567, and 490. 490 on the penetration at 20 kilometers. So she can do some serious damage. Just the secondaries are another aspect as well. We got 8 duals and 3 triples. Again, 152 and 127 or 5 inchers. With chances of fire, of course. The AA, we do have the 5-inch 127s and 152s as the dual purpose. And you had 12 of the dual 157s. So the medium range is definitely taken, but there's no close range, there's no real super far range. So the tier 10, I think, is quite the conundrum for a lot of people. And I think I'm going to leave everybody's their own opinion on just pointing out what the ships are and what they're going to be. But I'll say my 2 cents. The French lineup so far looks quite interesting. Am I really zealous about it? I'm just going to wait till everything gets fully finished. Remember, these are all ships work in progress. I mean, going back to Warships here, going away from all those little JPEG screens here, they're all work in progress. You can't really tell me that these ships are going to be 100% done right now. There's going to be changes. There's going to be different sigmas, crumbs, penetration values, everything. They're not solidified. I'm glad the ships are in the patch notes, and I'm glad being shown off. Some of these, like especially the first 4, tier 5, tier 6, tier 7, and tier 8 have been shown so far. But you can't tell me, and whoops, hit the wrong button here. You can't tell me that right off the bat that these are going to be a truly 100% what they really are until they're really been fully finished. All this is work in progress. They're all subject to change, which means our opinions are going to change. But overall, so far, if this is the way it is, I think it's going to be quite the interesting ship in certain aspects. The only thing I do think is the tier 10 seems a little prone to be judgmental, and I can agree that that is quite the problem. But I think it's going to be fair. I got some people who said to me that they've tried it out, and it was not that interesting. It was very yawny, boring kind of ish. And I can understand that. But we'll see. But anyway, guys, that is the complete lineup for the tier 4 to tier 10 French battleship line. If you guys have any other things you wish to me discuss on these things, let me know in the comments down below. If you guys have any other things you wish me to point out, or you guys want to discuss, write in the comments down below as well. If you guys want to see any more of my videos, hit the subscribe button or actually look it down below. There's plenty of videos. Of course, the complete update from the previous update. All the different ships that were being shown off, all their specs and stuff like that were pretty much discussed last time. This is just an update on some of the French ships that we already discussed, and doing the entire lineup on those as well. But I had to put that point across and actually get that solidified into everybody's little skulls there, and actually just get my point across about what these ships are going to be. But overall, I think this has pretty much summed it all up in a good, neat bow nutshell. So, then again, everybody, thank you guys for watching this video all the way to this point. I really, really appreciate you guys as the champs, as always, who get to stay here this long. Thank you as always. Really appreciate it. As always, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope to see you in the next one. As always, take care, and I hope you enjoyed.